वेलकम बैक टू द म्यूजिक पॉडकास्ट। दोस्तों, आज के हमारे जो गेस्ट हैं वो म्यूजिशियन तो है ही, क्योंकि ये म्यूजिक पॉडकास्ट है, लेकिन वो एक ऐसे इंसान है जिन्होंने एमएससी की है माइक्रोबायोलॉजी में, मास्टर्स किया है और उसमें भी गोल्ड मेडल हासिल किया है। उन्होंने भरतनाट्यम में विद्वत हासिल किया है। वो फोक से इंस्पायर्ड काम करते हैं और स्पेशली कन्नड़ फोक, मल्टीलिंगुअल फोक म्यूजिक वो करते हैं। उन्होंने पूरी दुनिया के अलग अलग बहुत प्रेस्टिजियस फेस्टिवल्स में, बहुत प्रेस्टिजियस वेन्यूज में परफॉर्म किया है, बहुत सारे आर्टिस्टों के साथ कोलैबोरेट किया है। वो फ्रंट मैन है अपने बैंड के। इसके अलावा उन्होंने बहुत सारी चीज़ें पहली बार की है, जैसे ग्लस्टनबरी फेस्टिवल में परफॉर्म करने वाले पहले इंडियन हैं। वो पहले आर्टिस्ट है जिनका गाना आईट्यून ग्लोबल चार्ट्स में टॉप किया है। और ऐसे ही टैलेंटेड पर्सनैलिटी के साथ आज हम मिल रहे हैं। मैं उनको जानता बहुत सालों से हूँ, लेकिन पहली बार मौका मिल रहा है सामने बैठ के बात करने का। आई एम श्योर आपको मजा आएगा। रघु,
थैंक यू सो मच। थैंक यू।
I hope you understood what I said.
सब कुछ।
So you know that the podcast is in Hindi, right?
अच्छा, हिंदी में बात कर सकते हैं हम? बस लोगों को समझ में आना चाहिए।
सर रघु, मेरा पहला सवाल है कि पूरी दुनिया में जितने भी लोग आपके आसपास हैं, वो सब लोग आपको अलग अलग तरीके से जानते हैं। दे नो यू फ्रॉम डिफरेंट वेज। सो टू अ मैनेजर, यू आर द हीरो, यू आर द पर्सन who needs to get the maximum eyeballs, maximum business. To a family member, you are a husband or a father or a son. To your team, you are the person through whom they can earn their bread.
Correct.
To the fans, you are somebody who's giving them peace, happiness, enjoyment.
Yeah.
But who is the real Raghu Dixit?
Wow. Well, that's a very deep question. I'm still looking for an answer for that. I mean, it's been बहुत सालों से ये कोशिश रहा है कि who am I? And in the recent past, I've kind of sort of got layers of answers to this. It's not the complete answer. One is that it's very easy to be happy for me, and it is to hold a guitar and sing. There's nothing else that can make me happy.
Congratulations. I mean, not very few people in the world are able to reach to this conclusion.
Yeah.
You found yourself. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, because in another interview like this, somebody asked me, what does success mean to you? I said, मैं success तो 30 साल पहले मिल गया, जब गिटार मिला मेरे को और पहली बार आवाज निकली मेरे से। तो वो जो वाइब्रेशन था बॉडी में और सब, in my head, and that at that time I was a very, very well-known at my peak dancer in Bharatnatyam. I had learned Bharatnatyam for almost 17 years. I never thought I will become a scientist, or I wanted to be a dancer, full-time professional dancer, and I worked towards it. And I thought I will never ever find anything more beautiful than dancing.
True.
And then I discovered music inside me. I didn't know there was music inside. Today, I'm not trained in music. But because of that absolute love and complete oneness that I feel when I hold the guitar, I haven't found anything else. I've earned money, I've earned fans, I've earned fame, I've traveled the world because of this one reason. Yet, all of that doesn't amount to the infinity that just holding the guitar and singing gives me.
Wow. And you just said that for a long time you wanted to be a dancer.
Yeah.
And then you found music inside you. First, my question is there genuinely a moment when this happens, the realization happens that, listen, hey, music is my forte and I'm made for music. Does that really happen? Did it happen to you? Or
No. The fact that it became profession was a natural progression. First time when I fell in love with the idea that I can sing holding an instrument. There was no intention that कि इसको मैं profession बनाऊंगा एक दिन. I just found something to love completely in its wholesomeness without any attachment to it.
And this happened like
When I was in first year BSc. I was made fun of by a classmate कि सिर्फ लड़कियां डांस करती हैं, काजल मेकअप डाल के, तू क्यों डांस करता है? And he used to play the guitar and sing English songs. See, when I hold the guitar, it's such a macho thing. ऐसा करके मजाक बनाया था सबके सामने. So I challenged him, in 2 months I'll play that stupid instrument of his and sing a song in English. And I came from a very orthodox Tambram family. And for me, playing the guitar and singing English music and all was completely banned at home. Even wearing jeans or anything at home, listening to English music, or even watching Star Trek at my neighbor's house on Sunday mornings was all not allowed. So for me, I grew up thinking every English music is rock music. So I told him I'll sing a rock song in 2 months and show it to you. So then through a friend, I met 2 brothers in a seminary who taught me the first few chords. And then they taught me my first song, which was not surprisingly a gospel song. But I fell in love with it. It's an incredible story from childhood till now, how many beautiful people I've met who have their only intention deep down has been to guide me into this line of work. And I'm just blessed that it became my profession.
And do you, now when you look back, do you really want to thank this guy who challenged you?
Absolutely. बहुत अच्छा दोस्त है मेरा जेफरी. वो अभी वॉशिंगटन डीसी में बहुत वेल रिस्पेक्टेड पास्टर है और स्पिरिचुअल काउंसलर है.
Wow.
तो जब वॉशिंगटन डीसी में कॉन्सर्ट हुआ था, मैंने उसको स्टेज पे बुला के सबको इंट्रोड्यूस किया कि इसने he is the pivotal change in my life. So
why I was asking that question because it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
When we go through any phase, when somebody challenges you, somebody puts you down, and I think you are able to do your best sometime because of that.
Everything. Like somebody tells me now, you will never be able to lose weight. I've challenged on somebody now. In 3 months, I'll become my ideal weight. Now, वो तो करना ही है अभी.
So, but if we are able to understand that, listen, this is the best part.
Yeah.
If somebody puts you in that tough situation, the best comes out of you.
Absolutely. For me, it is very true.
And you must have done hundreds and thousands of interviews.
Yes.
What are those questions that irritates you? That, listen, I don't want to answer these questions at all.
Nothing irritates me anymore. Because there is always somebody else who doesn't know anything about me. And for a larger population of India doesn't know me at all. Because my music reaches only to a niche audience, unfortunately. And 99% of music listening population of India won't know me. So if it reaches out my story to somebody through your interview, I would love to answer it again. I don't mind at all.
Fair enough. And are there anything which you always want to make sure that is asked to you? This is the most important thing that should be the thing that should be addressed to you. What is closest to you or important to you?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं, ask me anything. But at the same time, there are a couple of things that I'm very passionate about now beyond music. One is mental health. I've become a very vocal advocate of urging youngsters to reach out when they are going through something troublesome and they have thoughts, something that is not very friendly to their own well-being. So that has become my almost half the time work now. I also intend to start a company
on mental health
in that line of work now with another friend of mine. So yeah, that's become my center of focus in a huge way. And also whatever music I do now has finally found a purpose. Probably earlier, I used to make music thinking it gives me popularity, it gives me money, it gives me travel experiences, etc., etc. But now every song I sing should heal somebody. And that's my strongest intent behind every song I write. And every song is very, very personal. I have no imagination. Everything has to come from a part of my life which talks about that experience. Especially my new album, Shakkar. It has been tagged as songs about staying alive when you don't want to. And I wrote it in the most crazy period of time when I didn't want to live anymore. Every morning I would wake up hating the fact that I'm still breathing, and every night I would go with a prayer that I don't want to wake up next morning. And in the middle of all that, I made the happiest, most positive, most danceable album of my life. So now I found the counter mantra towards anything that is troubling me is to hit back with a smile.
True. We discussed it offline. I mean, I met a lot of people who've been in that phase. I've personally been in that phase for a little while.
Yeah, I was surprised to know that. And I'm so, because that is the toughest part, to open up yourself so unbridled way. कोई हिचकिचाहट के बिना अंदर की बात जो बताते हो, that's when you know you're really free from all of it. Yeah.
And I think if you have one person who can listen to your weird thoughts, I think that's the first step.
I've been very careful. I've gathered only people who can hear their weird thoughts now. The inner circle जो बोलते हैं ना, that's very crucial in moments of these darkness, especially if you're not surrounded by people who will let you be whoever you are without questioning you, but at the same time let you know that they are there if you need them. That is the key. And I also realized that most of the people who I thought were my support system were not really my support system. And that was a beautiful revelation.
Well said, actually. That's 100% true. I can reassure you that this is true.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, we're talking about mental health. I think musicians and anybody in the music industry are more prone to these things because our lives are very fluctuating.
Correct.
We suddenly rise from nowhere to the top. Suddenly there is a downfall.
Yeah.
And the moment एक गाना आपका hit होता है, एक project hit होता है, you are surrounded by thousands of people.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people who would claim to love you, and who would, because I've been a part of my artist life throughout, and who would, do anything to prove that they are the closest to you.
Yeah.
And suddenly that wave goes down.
Correct.
And it's very difficult for anybody to, agree to that reality at that time. That listen, all this time, what I was seeing was fake. And sometimes it becomes difficult to realize that what is true and what is real, what is unreal. And this happens to a lot of people.
Correct.
Would you like to give advice to anybody in the music industry, especially artists, who are in that phase, who are just emerging, just breaking their first song, becoming popular, doing concerts, hiring new people, team, getting new fans, new family members, what should they keep in mind to ensure that this doesn't happen to them?
There's no guarantee it won't happen. Everyone will have to go through it. And everyone's journey is so different from each other that one's advice is never enough for the other. Everyone has to go through their experience and deal it in their own way. But at the same time, it's good to be careful, not to give in too much to anybody except your parents and the closest ones in your family or friend. Like, for example, I have had a constant friend from 5th standard school से आज तक वही मेरा best friend रहा. Like, there is no change whatsoever. Like, I have not called anyone else my best friend. तो ऐसे लोगों को रखना जरूर होता है. Like, they will give you reality check every now and then. They are the ones who will tap on your shoulder saying, boss, गलत कर रहा है तू. And that, I think there was a phase where I probably ignored advices from the closest ones. And those are the ones who will not turn back and say, मैंने बोला था, when things go wrong. Those are the ones saying, it's okay. Like, अभी भी आप advice पूछ रहे हो, अगर मैं advice दे भी दूँ, सुनने वाला कोई नहीं है.
Correct.
Because everyone will have to reach a point where they will feel कि यही सही है. उस बाद में पता चलेगा उनको कि गलत किया अभी, तो I shouldn't have taken that step forward. I find advice really
Yeah.
useless
You were
from
saying,
professionals especially, because there are no really rules or anything like that. What I badly regret is that when I was 15 to say age 25, I didn't have an elder brother or an uncle or a dad who could tell me कि बॉस पैसे को ऐसे डील करते हैं, लोगों से ऐसे बर्ताव करते हैं, this is what love is, this is what marriage is, this is how you build your career or save money or whatever it is. Those life skills, I didn't have anybody to teach me, and I had to figure it out myself. And I figured it out through the best of the ways, which is basically making mistakes. with a lot of mistakes, very costly mistakes, expensive mistakes, regretful, remorseful mistakes, and now I'm very proud of who I've become because of that.
so the conclusion is make mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You'll automatically learn from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. So I saw the album yesterday.
You did?
In
Finally.
details, and I
Yay, one person has seen it. On record.
I saw a lot of angels. तो ये एंजल का क्या कनेक्शन है आपके गानों के साथ?
Like I said, right from my childhood till now, I have met some beautifully placed people in my life. And I can only tell this in retrospect. When it's happening, I wouldn't know.
True.
Now, with a lot of experience, I know I'm walking into a person who is going to change my life. For the good or the bad, that doesn't matter. Even the people who have hurt me or caused damage to my life, I acknowledge the fact that they were very crucial for my life, to who they were for my journey. And therefore, I'll still count them as an angel. So, for example, my first ever concert in Bangalore was for World Environment Day. अभी मैं मैसूर से Bangalore shift हुआ था. I had gotten a job as a scientist in a pharmaceutical company, as a science writer rather. That was our first concert. Me and a violinist had formed a duo called Antaragni. And we had never done a public gig till then. It was just a sit-down, two of us performing for some 100 people who had gathered for the World Environment Day thing. We were walking out off the stage down, and then a man with his wife and child meet me, and they said, "Aapka CD milega?" I just laughed. I said, "This is our first performance. We have not even recorded anything." And that it takes a lot of money and effort to get an album out. And by then I had kind of experienced from other musicians how difficult it is to get even a record label to listen to your demo at that time. So this man invites me home next week, organizes a dinner party and makes me sing in front of everybody, all of his friends. Everybody says a nice word and everybody goes back home. I'm the last one to leave, and this kid comes with a greeting card which says thank you, and inside was a check of 30,000 rupees. And I was like shocked. 30,000, this was in 97, 98.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. And then I asked, "What is this?" And he says, "I think you should go and record your demo." And this is the demo I carried with me as a cassette to Belgium, where I used to work. And one Sunday when I was just singing, like I always used to, in my room, in a paying guest accommodation, and my landlord heard something and he knocked on the door. I opened, he says, "What CD were you playing?" I said, "CD nahi main ga raha tha." "Acha, so you're a musician?" I said, "Yeah, I just sing for hobby's sake." He said, "Can I listen to do you have a recording of this?" I said, I gave him that cassette, the same demo I had recorded. Turns out this guy is a big TV producer in Belgian television, got me to perform on a radio show, which were heard by entire Belgium, France area. And I got so many emails forwarded by the radio station appreciating, and I sang in a language they didn't understand. And when I saw those messages written in French mainly, and I got it translated through a colleague of mine, I realized, oh my God, I didn't know I had something good going on here. And if I could turn on somebody's mind here in a foreign country, maybe I could do well back home in my country. 10 days, it's all it took to quit my job, get back to India to make music full time. I thought, but it took another 8 years before I could get my groove. But like this, I have many, many people. I can tell you stories all day and night. You can do 20 podcasts with it. Each story is worth a book. It's almost like that. Like,
We have 20 hours. We can cancel your flight. Don't worry about that.
absolutely, I don't mind at all,
Just,
because I believe this is the gospel I tell on stage. In fact, all my songs are woven to tell a story of my life, so that I can hopefully, if there are 1,000 people, at least 10 people, I'll restore their faith back in life, saying everything will be okay. And it was whatever you're going through is meant to be like that, because it is just pulling out the stronger person inside yourself. And if that happens, I think my intention to go on stage with a guitar in my hand and sing few songs is fulfilled.
wow. Great, man. I mean, I'm sure these two people, at least you spoke about, are the real angels,
Yes, yeah.
because none of this would have been possible without them.
Even Vishal Shekhar.
Yeah.
Or
They
even-
started a music label, and you
Yeah.
were the first.
Like, who
artist.
does this? Yeah. In today's selfish world, who just only two musicians can think like that. If it was a record label, they wouldn't think like that. Vishal heard my songs and he was like, "Why aren't these songs out?" I said, "Every record label has thrown me out for the last 8 years." Then Gusu Gusu Gusu, he and Shekhar are talking while I'm singing in front of them. I got irritated, in fact. Yeah, बात करते जा रहे हैं, मैं गा रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. They stopped me in the middle of a song. I got shocked. And I said, "Look, sorry, I stopped you. We decided to start a new record label. Chalo, hum release karte hain." I said, "What are you talking about?" And the rest is history. Till today, I mean, they've not taken money back from me or whatever it is. They just did it because they loved the album and they thought people deserve to be heard. This music needs to be heard by people. And it was just serendipity.
Amazing, no?
Yeah.
So, Raghu, if we go back to our life, no, I mean, if we close our eyes, and you are expert in closing the eyes, I know.
Yeah.
When you sing, you close your eyes.
I
right?
can't, because I have to see lyrics in my head. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So whenever you sing on stage, your eyes are closed?
Absolutely. Almost always. Yeah.
So you don't see the audience
No.
while singing at all?
Sometimes, but not most of the time. 90% of the time, my eyes are closed.
So what do you see apart from the lyrics?
Because it's my escape. Also, it is my selfish way to be one with myself. And at the same time, somehow it sends a message to people that I'm not faking whatever I'm saying or singing, that I mean every word that I'm singing. Somebody else has not written the words for me. Somebody else has not composed that line for me. None of my songs were lip-synced by good-looking people on a screen. They are my words. They are my stories. And I'm telling you, I've lived through this experience. And I'm sure you have too. And that once that connection happens, I think... See, I'm not a great singer. I know my limitations. I'm a self-taught singer. My voice only moves in a certain way. I'm not trained to do harkats. Probably it's also one of the reasons why I'm scared of doing playback singing. I've never approached playback singing. I've been forced to.
You did a few projects in
I did, but I hate to sing somebody else's songs because I'm scared. And it is embarrassing to be in a studio when a music director says, "Aisa nahi, aisa gana hai," and I can't, you know.
It's
So
a
I know my
different skill
limitations.
set, actually.
Sorry?
It's a different skill set altogether.
It is, absolutely. And it needs a lot of sadhana, a lot of hard work, years of training, and to build that flexibility. And now, though, you need so many styles of singing abilities to fit into film industry. It's not enough to just learn classical music from India, but also Western hip hop, R&B, and pop, everything you need to learn. It's crazy.
I read somewhere that you recently had a show in London and you changed your entire set on the basis of how people were dressed.
Correct.
And you included, a lot of Kannada song during the performance.
I mean, I will know. In the first 2-3 songs, I will know what's going down well. And then thankfully, I have a set of musicians in my band who are well prepared beyond the set list. We decide we have a repertoire of some 30 songs that we can instantly pull out and say, "I'm going to play this song." We talk a lot on stage, in fact, much to the, rules of the game. My manager, poor guy, he would have written all the set list and printed it, but nobody gives a damn to what's written on that set list. Halfway through the set list, even the visuals guy is confused, the lighting guy is confused, the sound engineer is confused, except the musicians on stage.
See, I know the pain because I've been a part of more than 1,000 shows myself.
I'm sure.
Rarely there would be 50 shows out of those 1,000 of all the artists put together, which went through the playlist.
Correct.
There has to be at least one change.
Correct.
Some artist changes the entire set.
मेरा तो ऐसे ही होता है.
But
Finally, I know that I'm on stage to perform for an audience, and if the audience demands me a song, even if it's one person from the audience, my ears are very sharp for that, and I will oblige those requests. As much as it may dismay the fact that I've not performed the songs which I want to perform, really, it's very important to respect what the audience wants and perform for them, because I know one person will go back home very, very, very happy.
yeah. And you are also called the Lungi Rockstar, right?
Yeah, that's more for ventilation, that's all. But yeah, it is also one of the crucial decisions that made us get talked about in every interview. Nobody misses out on the fact that I wear a lungi on stage. I used to wear long kurtas and pajamas, and I used to look like a Hindustani classical musician trying to fake my fusion. And then we tried jeans and white kurtas and all that. And then Euphoria had already done that to death. So I had to come up with something unique. And it was only one night when I was wearing my, we call it veshti in Tamil, panche in Kannada. I realized, why don't I wear this on stage? This is me. This is what I wear every day at home. So just took that and made it a little colorful to represent the colorful side of the folk music. And ghungru to mein, I was very comfortable wearing them. And it's also a rhythmic element used in folk music. So just बढ़िया look, एक रात में हो गया तो idea. And it just remained a USP for us.
So that has become an integral part of your performance now.
Absolutely, yes.
See, if you close your eyes, I mean, that's
coming
where the
back to that
conversation starts.
Yeah.
Generally, when you close your eyes and you go back and look at your life, you can't remember everything that happened in your life.
Yeah.
But you get those 5 moments or 10 moments or 2 moments that defines who you are.
Correct.
Those can be happy moments, sad moments, embarrassing moments, all kinds of moments.
Yeah.
So let us go back and check those moments from your life.
Wow.
Which defines who you are today. What are those moments and what has stayed from those moments?
When I was 5, I think, I used to be a very naughty guy. I used to put a tantrum for everything, apparently. I don't believe these stories, but let's take it as truth now. And whenever I would cry putting up a tantrum, my mom would have a small dholki. She would play and sing one song for me, a particular song called Nach Re Mora Ambya Chavarach Nach Re Mora Nash. Now, I'm not a Marathi guy, but my mother has her roots from Nashik. So she used to sing this Marathi song to me, and I would move my body to it. And that she saw that there is rhythm in my body. And she pushed me into learning music. She put me to learn harmonium and dholki. And then life took a sudden turn. My mom passed away when I was young. So we shifted to Mysore and music just got left behind. And then dance took over. For me, meeting my dance teacher has been one of the most crucial moments of my life. I hated to dance because I was imitating my cousin sister it was a joint family. So my cousin sister used to learn dance. She was younger than me, in fact. I was 7.5 at that time. So there was nobody at home, so I thought I will make fun of her. So I stood in front of her and tried to imitate whatever she was rehearsing. You make your face like that, like this. But from far, my father saw it. I didn't even know when he has entered house. He saw me and he's misunderstood that for talent. He thought I was learning from her. Next day, to my horror, I'm in the middle of 12 girls trying to learn dance. The first day, I have cried to the top of my voice. And my father was there in the corner and my father was an angry man. His left hand was very famous. It would come and whack the shit out of me anytime, So out of his fear, I was standing there. But my teacher said, you don't want to learn? It's okay, you come and sit down here. You watch today. And she sent my father back home saying, it's okay, I'll take care of it. And I sat and watched the whole class. Like this six classes, I have not tried to learn at all. I refused to learn. So after that, one day she said, once the class got over, she sent off all the students. I said, if I teach you one-on-one, will you learn? I said, yeah. So she taught me one-on-one. And she was so encouraging. And I was also very fast because 6 classes, I watched the classes. So I could learn. I could already do some of them. And with her encouragement, I continued dancing. And within 6 months, actually, she made me perform for a local small performance. And people said very, very nice things to me. The attention that I got from that spurred me on even more.
Yeah.
And she was also, she's till today, whenever I go to Mysore, I'll make it a point, I'll go visit her. Till today, I learned so much from her. It's like, of course, she's very sad that I gave up dancing. She asked me, get back to dancing. Last time I met her. So yeah, maybe I might get back to dancing. But the fact is, she shaped me in a huge way. My love for music or whatever knowledge of music probably has stemmed from the fact that I've been a dancer for so many years. The fact that I wear ghungru, the way I use my stage, the fact that there is a costume. You'll call it aharya abhinaya in dance, which means expression through clothes and or the costume that you wear. It's an expression. And to represent who you are truly is great through what you wear on stage and where you come from. It tells so much about an artist, the way he or she is dressed. So I think meeting my dance teacher was one great, crucial aspect. And then, of course, meeting so many people. There can't be 5 moments of my life.
Let's pick up whatever is coming to your mind right now.
Love Box Festival. That was our first experience to go and perform in a foreign country. And still remember, it was a 2 p.m. slot for us on the 3rd stage at this festival. This is in 2009. There was just one lady with an umbrella and a kid holding on to her. And it was raining. And we got called on stage. And I'm like, is this why I spend so much money coming from UK to perform here? And I have just one person to watch me. But we have to do whatever we have to do. So we went ahead and performed. By the end of the show, there were people running from other stages. And we had about 3,000 people at the end of towards the later half of the concert. And I was ecstatic. And I was right about my gut feeling that my music deserves to be heard around the world. It was the first sign. And then we came backstage, and then at that time, my manager was speaking to somebody, and he said, guys, we have another gig day after. What? Where? You guys are playing at WOMAD. How? Some Middle Eastern band which was supposed to come and perform for WOMAD had pulled out because of visa issues, so they wanted to fill that slot. And that's the slot we got. And we played at WOMAD Charlton Park. For me, that was a phenomenal sign that whatever I believed about my music is true. And since then, I have spent all my savings that I earn in India just to fund my tours abroad. And I find it very funny to go all the way only to perform for an Indian diaspora. My idea was to reach beyond that and to reach out to an audience which is crossing over to other forms of music. And till today, I'm just doing that only. I remember we got paid in 2012, I think 400 pounds or something like that to perform on a very small stage at an afternoon slot in Cambridge Folk Festival. And after that, this year when we went and performed again at Cambridge Folk Festival, we headlined the whole festival.
Wow.
So for me, that is brilliant for me as an artist to kind of reaffirm the fact that whatever I had imagined that my music deserves is achieved, albeit very small steps and then long, arduous, hard work behind it and spending my own money every year, going through losses in lakhs to fund this tour. But I've been fiercely independent about it, and I refuse to take help from anybody about it. I believe that I'm capable of doing this on my own, and luckily I've got a great team working with me. My band is absolutely beautiful set of people, and they agree to play off for very less money and go through shitty hotels, shitty food, but they all know that I believe in something, and then they should support me, and that if something goes wrong, I'll take care of them.
In fact, you are a true independent art. I mean, in true sense, you're independent because you own all your music.
Yeah.
You plan all your tour yourself.
Yes.
You perform in festivals, colleges, and that's how you function, right?
Correct.
So there is an American executive called Leo Cohen, who is the global head of music for YouTube and Google.
Okay.
We had recently done his podcast. He mentioned an amazing line, and that line like keeps on going in my mind. Then I wanted to tell you, because you are somebody who's independent, that being independent does not mean being alone.
Correct.
A lot of people get confused that independent hai to yaar, problem hoga. But being independent means you own every decision and everything which you do yourself.
Absolutely.
And maybe that's the reason you've never worked with a label, right?
ऐसा भी नहीं है. Nobody has convinced me that they will love my music as much as I do.
Okay, that's interesting.
And respect it the way it deserves to be respected. I don't mind my music reaching out to people 5-6 years down the line. Like अभी बात कर रहे थे इस इंटरव्यू से पहले कि everyone's looking at numbers, कि इतना views आया है, उतना views आया है. लेकिन my first 2 albums came out when there was no YouTube.
True.
There was no music video ever we shot, though there was MTV channel at that time. So it took years before that music could be heard by people in larger numbers. It slowly trickled from person to person, from word of mouth. It's now scary to get into this numbers game, reels banao. Like today also I put up one story, like somebody else's post, I put it as a story. They're like, I just wanted to make art, but I'm forced to make content. So that is very scary. But even during these times, I'm holding on to my belief that whichever song I make, eventually will find its audience which deserves to listen to it, and it will get its respect and love that the music deserves from the same audience. So, but it is scary. I get jittery, I get vulnerable when I see or hear discussions about numbers and how booking agents look at numbers, only then they book you, or their fees decided on the number of tickets that you can sell or whatever in a festival. It's scary.
So let me ask you a question, that if I am that label who thinks that I can do justice to your content, and I'm listening to this podcast,
okay,
and I want to approach you,
yes,
or your management,
sure,
what should I keep in mind so that you will feel respected, you will feel confident, and there are higher chances of you working with that label?
don't talk about money first. Talk about listening to the songs and tell me what you feel about it. What do you really think this song is about? Why did it connect with you? Did it really connect? I will know in first 5 minutes, I will know you're faking it or you're truly believing in what you said. I found that in Vishal Shekhar. Why did I trust Vishal Shekhar with my music? It was not that I was desperate. I didn't approach Vishal Shekhar. Vishal Shekhar approached me through whoever connected me. So, and I didn't even talk contract money or what are the terms and conditions. Nothing. They said, we will release your music. Would you be interested? I said, yeah. But the same, before that, 15 companies that I'd approached, something would tell me where I knew I had to walk out of there. I know a record label where he put his feet on the table and spoke to me throughout the meeting, where I saw his feet more than his face.
That's a good observation.
I've been told to wait in the lobby for a whole day and then not show up. And I would walk back from the lobby also. So those are the signs where you know that they don't deserve me.
True.
So it's not about the contract. It's not about what. It's about the vision, what you see for this music, and that particular music only. I'm not asking you to see 5-10 years from down the line. जो किया है अभी ये काम जो है 8 गाने मेरे एल्बम में उसको लेके तू क्या करेगा, उसका विजन क्या होगा, वही चाहिए मेरे को, वो कन्विंस करेगा मेरे को.
And are you also comfortable curating music as per the requirement on or a brief? If somebody says that I have right now there is the world needs peace.
I don't think anyone will approach me that way at all.
If somebody does.
No, I don't think so. My vibe is so strong that people will not even bother to approach me.
You never know. I'll tell you why I'm saying to Raghu. I have been very privileged and fortunate that I meet all people.
Correct.
Publishers,
Yeah.
labels, A&R executives, independent artists, commercial artists. And I found a unique thing that almost all of them have made assumptions about everybody else.
Correct.
But the truth is that most of them are compatible. But the problem is that nobody is making that effort with the scare कि यार वो मना कर देगा तो.
हाँ.
A lot of times people don't approach because they're not sure.
हाँ. A lot of filmmakers have told me this. Like,
Yeah.
I never knew you were interested in film music.
Correct. And my reason of asking you these questions again and again is that I don't know. Maybe nobody is listening to this, the relevant person, but if there is somebody.
But there are filmmakers who have approached me and we've had the most glorious time. Like, for example, Raja Menon, when I made music for Chef. Or Noorpur Astana, where I did music for Mujhse Friendship Karoge. Ashish Patil knew me from MTV days when he used to work with MTV. And he called me in for that project. We had a ball making music of that film. All the 5 songs were done within an hour in a sitting. And all the 5 songs were approved by Chopra Saab.
Because there are a lot of corporate guys now.
Yeah.
There are a lot of companies who has CSR budget, who are not necessarily a label,
Yeah.
but who loves music.
Yeah.
And they want to do something with music. The earlier opening up a music label was a big deal because you needed a huge setup. You have to have a factory. Today everything is digital.
Yes.
So you have labels who are successful with 1-person team.
Correct.
As well.
Yes.
So there might be a lot of people who might be interested in curating and creating something unique with you. Use your creativity, experience, maturity, passion of music, and bring on their expertise of understanding what the world needs right now.
Okay.
Are you open to those conversations?
Yes, I am open to those conversations. I'm having those conversations. I'm also having conversations where I have few ideas which are phenomenally relevant to this day's world, and I think there are things that needs to be addressed, and there's no other better medium than making music and talking about it, because it brings people together when you make music. And but yaar, kaun hai ye CSR wala? Please batao mere ko, because I've been searching to fund this project, which is phenomenally expensive, and it's scary for me to invest my own money into it. But after 3 years of waiting, since last 3 years, I have decided कि wait करता रहूँगा तो wait करता ही रहूँगा मैं. अभी I'm saving money to kickstart that project. At least pilot तो shoot करूँगा मैं, and then maybe convince somebody to put money behind it. But see, once somebody puts money behind it, the problem is the IP becomes theirs. And for me, that is a very tricky situation.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
See, all these music distribution companies these days, on the basis of your past record, they fund you.
Correct.
And they give you an advance, which is an interest-free loan.
Yeah.
But they do not own any rights. You own all the rights.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one thing which I know.
Correct.
There is one 22-year-old guy who has a unique idea, which might be addressing and solving your problem right now. He's sitting somewhere.
Correct.
We don't know.
I would love to have conversations.
Every month, every year, there is a new idea, new business thing coming in the world. So if we put it out in the universe, maybe somebody is listening to it.
So I went and approached a company like this. Let's call it a company because it's not a company. It's like a trust. I went and approached them, and funnily enough, the idea which I went to speak to them about didn't get a nod. But in the free-flowing conversation, I blurted out a story that I've written. And I said, I want to make a movie out of this. So what else do you do? Like, I'm shaping myself into a filmmaker slowly. I want to make movies. I have ideas in my head, which when I tell people in the film circle that I have friends of, and they've told me that these are brilliant ideas to make stories and films about. So I'm slowly preparing myself to become a filmmaker eventually. And these guys were instantly ready to fund it. And sometimes it happens. Yes, I agree on it. And that particular script is being now written and shaped. Hopefully next year we'll shoot that film also.
So when you come for the next podcast, you'll be a filmmaker?
Maybe, hopefully. Yeah, you never know what his plans are.
You have done a lot of collaborations.
Yes.
Any collaboration which you think is like a dream collaboration which you want to do?
Sting. I even have a song ready.
Okay. We had posted online
Yeah.
a couple of days back, and there are a lot of questions which people have sent for you.
Okay.
I would like to take those questions.
Sure.
some
I
of-
thought people never take such posts seriously. But yeah,
So I told you we have a dedicated audience, but a lot of them are emerging artists,
Lovely.
students.
Great.
So the questions might be very basic as well.
no, nothing is basic really.
Yeah. I'll like to take those questions.
Yeah.
So the first one is, what's the one key takeaway from your experience when you perform at an international stage?
There is absolutely no difference in the audiences around the world. Finally, at the end of the day, it comes down to the emotions, and emotions are the same. We feel the same anger everywhere. We feel the same joy, happiness, same fatherhood, same motherhood, same child to a mother or father. Every emotion is the same around the world, and nobody, so-called cultural differences, language differences don't matter at all. Nothing brings people together as beautifully as music can. And I think, yeah, I mean, there used to be comparisons about how professional the Western world is, but it's all bull. We are as good as everybody else, and we are as bad as everybody else.
There are certain things good here, there are certain things bad here.
Yeah.
You don't find manpower there.
Yeah.
So there are a lot. Okay. Next one is, how do independent artists survive, and reasons why an artist should or not sign with a music label?
Not signed with a label is not a what do I say, a rule. There are independent artists who work with record labels. I worked with a record label. My first album came through Vishal Shekhar Music. My rule has been that I need to work with people who will believe in it as much as I do. And it's not about the contract. It's not about anything. It's just about, I understand you. I get you. I haven't met many people like that.
So it's an individual choice.
Yes. And the first question is, how do an independent musician survive? What does that even mean?
I mean, where do they get the revenue from? I think that might be the
Okay.
question.
So, for example, when I came back from Belgium, quitting my job, thinking I'll be a rock star overnight because I have got validation from foreigners out there, resulted in every record label in India rejecting me. For 7 years, I didn't know how to get across that. And that's when I switched over to using my music in other fields like jingle making, was corporate songs and corporate films, and et cetera, et cetera. I survived 7 years with that. So even if you're an independent musician, when you say you're a musician, don't be so stuck up that you want to do only that. You have to be, in today's world especially, you have to be a producer, you have to be a sound engineer, you have to be, if you have more skills today, it's that much more better.
Okay. As you're not musically trained, what was your source of confidence at the start?
Balls. Yeah, balls.
I can do it.
Yeah. I just thought I could do. I don't know where that came from.
I think that came from that friend who challenged you.
Yeah, I guess so. and every time I did write a song, and trust me when I say this, I've never sung a cover song. I've never done that. Because when I started playing the guitar, I didn't have a tape recorder at home. So I couldn't listen to much of the music that my friends were listening to. So the only source of music was myself. I would strum the guitar. I got bored strumming it. I started singing along with it. And then I realized I could make tunes which I would remember a few days ago because I couldn't still record whatever I was singing. So that's when I realized, okay, I'm making catchy tunes. Then I started reading newspaper headlines to it because I didn't know I could write words. After some time, that also got boring. So then I forced myself to write lyrics myself. And then I would get any bakra in the classroom to listen to my whatever new, aaj maine ek naya gana likha hai. And my friends were very kind to me. That spurred me on. I would just sing for them endlessly and they would clap for me and that's it. Once you get that validation, but the real validation started when I started singing for absolute strangers. And they would walk up to me and said, boss, you touched me. That's when I knew I had something, which happened in Belgium.
Okay, the next one is that your top favorite songs, underrated songs that or bands that deserve attention.
Wow, that's a great question. Hundreds of them. There are just so many artists who deserve to be heard. Just crazy. Just yesterday, finally, a boy called Shubham Roy, for example, from Bangalore, too scared to take that step into full-time music. Or maybe he tried and he went back to corporate world or whatever. Finally, after, I think it was 10 years since I know him, the first time I heard him, I said, boss, you have something very, very special. Please don't waste time, start writing your own songs. And then, I have one song. And he said, I said, one song se banega nahi. You would write 65 songs and come back to me. Because by then you won't want to come back to me because you would have figured out how to write a song, how to produce it also. You will hear the final sound by the time you write your 60th song. And finally, he's released his first original song yesterday. And I was so happy. It brought me to tears when I heard that song. Dheere karke gana he's released, which is a collaboration with another singer called Katya Krishnan. A beautiful song. So for me, it's just that, like, there are just so many artists I meet. Few days ago, I scrolled through Instagram and I saw a reel where a 23-year-old Northeast musician who has moved to Bangalore is saying, I'm a failed musician. कितने सालों से मैं try कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. मेरा गाना कोई सुन नहीं रहा है. I'm not getting opportunities. So I'm thinking I'll quit music. ऐसा कुछ. And then there are people who say, no, wow, you have to dream, you have to dream. So I reached out to him saying, any help you want, you let me know. I want to listen to your music first. So there are beautiful people making music unheard completely out there who deserve to be heard. And whoever approaches me, I've always had almost always similar advice कि एक गाना लेके मत आना please. Because this is singles का ज़माना हो गया and everybody thinks one song is enough to... What after that one song? Very, very few Anu Jains and Pratik Kuhars are there today where they release singles and built upon it.
Yeah.
ऐसे कितने सारे आर्टिस्ट हैं जो एक गाना रिलीज किया, सुपर हिट हो गया, उसके बाद फेड आउट.
Correct.
Like I give them my own example. The reason why I could sustain 20 years of playing independent music, non-film music, is the reason because of constant writing and figuring out what song crafting is all about.
True.
So there are so many bands and artists I would love to work with.
So which artist would you...
Till Apes करके एक band है Bangalore में.
Okay.
Phenomenal. Truly international. In fact, somebody should pick them up and just put it on a world map. Their music is just, you cannot even bracket them कि ये ऐसा music करते हैं. One song can be like completely hip hop trap music, and the next song is completely jazz based melodic song, and just crazy.
Where do you buy your outfits from?
Good question. Till recently, it used to be myself. I would go hunt down the raw material, go to a tailor and tell him this is the idea, this is the design. Before that, there was a little girl called Ashwini who used to design. She gave me the ideas of these pattern matching, mix matching, block printing and stuff. I learned it from her. Most of my initial lungis were designed by her. Then she moved out, she got married and moved to somewhere northeast. And after that, it became extremely difficult to get somebody who had the same sensibilities. Then I started doing it myself unsuccessfully till recently. I found a very well-known designer, Sanjay and Shami in Bangalore.
So they design the clothes.
So they designed our clothes for the Paris Olympics tour. Yeah.
Okay, the next one. How does Raghu Dixit sir bring up so much joy and energy every time in the concerts? Tell us the secret.
It's genuinely, I don't bring it up. It's there. You
Yes,
guys,
close my eyes.
whoever listens to me give me that joy, and I genuinely love performing for an audience. Every time I would like to offer myself the way I am to them, and everything that I am. I put my entire body behind every song I sing. So body, mind, and soul. Truly, truly, I really enjoy performing on my stage. And that I think reflects back and it gets infected into the audience, and then that connection builds up.
And you have any memorable experience, live show experience? Like you performed at many places, but a concert which has like stayed with you.
Yeah, 2 concerts, please, not one. One concert was at Queen Elizabeth Hall in London at South Bank Centre, Alchemy Festival. I was already suffering from laryngitis and my voice was gone, like tone. And yet we had to do that show. So we did the sound check, and I knew it's not going to go down too well that night. And we were collaborating with Bellowhead, another folk band from England, and I wanted to pull out, saying I think we should cancel it, saying I'm sick. But the head of South Bank Center, she said, no, I think you should go ahead. We'll see what happens. So when I went on stage, I apologized, saying I'm suffering from laryngitis. I don't know how long I can sing, but I will take one song at a time. Is that okay? And somebody shouted, yeah, start singing. So I started singing. One song done, people clapped. We had already detuned my guitar down by 3 steps, I think, which was 3 half steps, which was crazy low for me by my standards. And then still I was struggling to sing. Third song, which is the most popular song in the UK, No Man Will Ever Love You Like I Do, that song. I was about to take my chorus, which is a higher note, and my voice just didn't come out. It stopped. I had to just stop the song and apologize to the audience. I thought there will be trouble from the audience. I thought there will be a little kind of chaos at the box office for a refund or whatever, because the tickets were not cheap. But not one person went to the box office asking for a refund. Instead, everybody stood up for 3 minutes, clapped, and wished me well through Twitter and Facebook. And that's the day I realized that the audience and the world is far kinder than we imagine it to be. I always respect that part of the audience. People have been patient while my guitar string has got cut or whatever. Or I have started a song and I realize that I'm singing off key, and I've stopped the song and I said, I'm so sorry, I'm off key. Can I restart the song? And I've restarted the song, and the audience has forgiven me. So when you are so honest and so vulnerable in front of the audience, I think they are also equally honest about their feelings, and then they are extremely kind. That is one concert that I will never forget, because it's a huge lesson I learned. And a few years ago, like a lot of people have asked me, how was it to perform for the Queen of England at Windsor Castle? I said the most beautiful experience has been performing for my Queen of Mysore in front of Mysore Palace, where she invited me to perform for the 100th year anniversary of Jag Changa and Shakkar, the King of Mysore. And that day, both my dance teacher and my mother sat at the screen and watched the show. For me, it was like the 3 mothers watching me. It was one of the most beautiful, memorable experience, performing in my hometown to my home people, in front of my home queen and my mothers. Yeah.
Wow. That must be, I think that must have been the time you must have felt validated.
Totally. I mean, my mother has, like, even my father for that matter, he would hate the fact that I've picked up a guitar. तानपुरा लेके बैठ गया सुबह सुबह. He would scold me. You know? But I still remember the first time I performed in Mysore. My father was reading his newspaper, hiding behind his newspaper, and I said, "I'm going for a concert. Do you want to come and watch it?" I said, like that. And then he went back to his newspaper. And then I finished performing, and then a few friends came backstage and they congratulated me. And one of my friends said, "Hey, I saw your dad. He had come and watched you. He was standing in the shadow and watching you." For me, that was what a blessing it was. And that day I realized, Yeah, this is true love. And my mother has always never stopped me from doing anything. That has been the most beautiful encouragement. Never has she said, don't do this, don't do that. जो मन में आया करने दिया. And she knew he'll fall, he'll get up, he'll learn.
Wow. Okay, your earliest memory performing in Mysore. I remember being blown away by his Two Princes solo in Jessiana, 90 to 93.
Oh my God, oh shit.
This 90 to 93 is like...
This is embarrassing. Yeah. This was JCana. There's a college called SJCE. It was the only engineering college which would have a fest.
Your podcast is reaching the right audience.
Correct, absolutely. Who would probably get Western music to be played in their fest. It was the only college that was doing it. And I remember somebody asking me to be a vocalist that day. And they said, these are the songs we're performing. Would you be interested to? And I said, look, I have never heard these songs. They were doing Hotel California. They were doing Sultans of Swing. And they were doing Two Princes. I never played solos. I was never a solo player. I'm not. I use the guitar more like a tanpura than a guitarist. All the guitarists in this world must be laughing at my guitar skills. But I remember that experience of singing songs which I've never heard before, learning it all within 3-4 days and trying to sing it with a fake English accent, American accent, and failing miserable at it. I felt very shitty that day that this is not what I truly enjoy singing.
This is like 30 years back?
30 years back, yeah.
Wow. अगला सवाल है रघु कि you've done quite notable works in Bollywood, be it मुझसे फ्रेंडशिप करोगे, बेवकूफियां और शेफ एल्बम. Can we expect any Bollywood album from you in coming years?
I would love to. And if I meet the right person who wants to, who will see me fitting into his plans, because it is a director's medium. It is also a market-driven medium, and for my music to fit in. And so many people think I can only do folk music, which is not true. There are sides to me which people don't know me at all as a musician. So yeah, if somebody wants to take a chance on me, even if it means trying me out, trial period, uske baad pray karna, uske baad whatever. Let me do the scratches and see if it works for you. Yeah, I would love to. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Without VST, can we create a full-fledged song with only inbuilt instruments and instrument ka selection kaisa hona chahiye?
Wow, that's a very nice question. In today's world, VSTs have become the first thing to go for, and create everything sitting in your bedroom with a laptop and sound card and one MIDI keyboard and one fat hard disk with all the VSTs and sound samples. Yes, today's world hardly starts from a guitar. Everything is from a process sound and stuff like that. But there are people like me who still holds a guitar and makes a tune first and then figure out the sound around it. So yeah, but I've tried both. Both works, excellently works. Yeah.
And this is instrument ka selection kaisa hona chahiye? Can you...
There is no rule. I don't think it's a valid question to ask, because every song deserves a certain soundscape, and it could be also your imagination. It could be somebody else's direction also. See, a sound chahiye mere film mein. So then you work according to that.
I think you've answered this, but I'll still take this. What is your ideology behind songwriting? For example, Shantanu Moitra gets inspired from nature. Beatles used to get inspired from chord progression.
Correct.
And melody. What's your ideology behind songwriting?
Now it is basically the idea, like I mentioned earlier before, that every song I write should put faith back in people. Even like some of my fans have started calling me Raghu Baba now, and then my concerts are being called as satsangs and stuff like that. Like, it's quite hilarious. I mean, of course, they're trolling me, but
that's the biggest business in the world, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, but the amount of stories I tell on stage before every song, and how it applies to everyday life, and that's what most people now come to my concerts for. People who really need that hand to hold. And they find it in my songs.
Most people do.
Yeah, so that's my purpose now, really. Each song has to talk to people and tell them, you're doing okay.
This last question is the best one. I should have asked the first question when you came to the podcast. Do girls really fall for you when you know how to play guitar?
No. Like, uh, there's a very famous guitarist. Now I can't think of this name. Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry's famous quote has been that I used to hang out in the park with with the older boys, and they used to play the guitar. And I thought by playing the guitar, I would score some chicks like they were scoring. I didn't score any, but I learned to play the guitar anyway.
That's good.
Yeah, it hit me very young when I was still learning to play the guitar, and I'm glad I read that quote very early in my career.
सर रघु, आपके एल्बम के बारे में बात करते हैं.
Sure.
पहली बात तो आप एक फेज से निकल के आए और उस फेज में ही शायद आपने इस एल्बम पे काम किया, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग. और दूसरी बात कि आपने बहुत साल के ब्रेक के बाद एल्बम पर काम किया. तो एल्बम का पर्पस क्या है, एक एक गाने की स्टोरी क्या है, थोड़ा बैकग्राउंड उसके बारे में बात करें.
Sure. First of all, you asked me 5 moments of my life. उसमें 3 ही बताया मैंने. Probably the last one, 5th moment would be this particular album. कैसे बना? So I was, like I said, every night I would go to bed. I don't want to wake up next morning, and every morning I would wake up cursing myself that I'm still breathing. ऐसे एक फेज में एक बंदा कोलकाता से मेरे को हर रोज डेमो भेजता था व्हाट्सएप पे. पहले इंस्टाग्राम में, उसके बाद उसने नंबर पूछा था, मैंने दे दिया था. उसका गिटार प्लेइंग का डेमो मेरे पास. Every day I would listen to the demo, and beautiful playing, excellent guitarist, and I would say kind words, saying बहुत अच्छा बजाया आपने, very nice, excellent playing. Next day I would get a demo of him playing the drums, and after उसके बाद कुछ कीबोर्ड पे ड्रम्स बजा रहा है, ऐसा कुछ. And I'm like stunned by his musicality and his versatility, everything. But it was getting irritating for me that I want to die. And this guy is going on sending demos every day, and I'm saying nice things to him. Then one day I stopped and said, why are you sending me these demos? Haven't I validated you enough? They said, no, I was hoping you will call me and you will work with me, and I've been waiting to work with you. I'm a big fan of your music. I said, are you serious? I said, sir, very serious, sir. So अभी मैं फ्लाइट बुक करके भेजूंगा मैं. I said it in a very fun way. He said, sir, I will definitely come, sir. Are you serious, sir? तो मैंने on the spur book किया flight ticket, and I sent him the flight ticket. And next day, this man lands into my house. His name is John Paul. Now he plays
John. Yeah,
John plays with Arijit Singh now. So John Paul comes to my house, and as soon as he lands, he wants to see my studio because he's seen only pictures of it, and he wants to. So I take him up to the studio as soon as he comes with all his guitar and baggage, suitcase, सब लेके आया. And by the time I could switch on the system, and he's already spread out his processor and connected it in, and then he's ready to go. He wants to hear how it sounds. Starts playing. And I'm scratching my head. It's like, pagal. And as soon as he started playing, I was like, wow, so good. And trust me when I'm telling you this, there was no music coming out of me for almost 11 years till then. No new music came out of myself. I've done film music, but it's not my music, I would say. Film music is inspired by so many factors, but my own music had stopped after my second album. And my second album was also composed 5 years ago. It released only 5 years later. So I had no new music to show it to the world. And suddenly out of nowhere, I start singing along with whatever he was playing. Within the first 10 minutes, we had a melody down, and I had recorded it on my phone. We jammed the entire day non-stop. We forgot to have lunch the first day. And he had traveled from Kolkata. I didn't even ask him breakfast, lunch, kuchi. We just jammed. And it was fire. It was just a beautiful, surreal experience where we both forgot everything outside the 4 walls of my studio, and we made about 3 songs on the first day. This jamming continues for next 12, 15 days.
Non-stop?
Non-stop. Either I'm sleeping and he's working, or he's working on I'm working on the computer and he's sleeping. We are stepping out only to use the restroom. My help would put the plates with food at the entrance of the door, and then I would pick it up, eat, keep it back. We just couldn't stop making music. Me and John made about 40 plus tunes in the next 10, 12 days,
Wow.
out of which 8 songs later shaped into this album. John came and then his mother probably called him saying, "Boss, kab aa raha hai wapas?" So I had to book his flight and send him back. And it took another 3 months for me to even get back to that music, because I was not in that space at all I didn't even think much about it. When the tunes happened, it happened. It was joyous, everything beautiful. It's recorded in my system. Scratches were recorded. He had played the drums on the keyboard. He had played the bass guitar, everything. Scratches were ready. It was only 3 months later I opened my system and then started listening to all this work, and I was like, wow, there is something in this I should work on. So the next 6 months, I invite Neeraj Rajawat Singh, who is a lyricist from Bombay, originally from Rajasthan. Made him stay in my house for another month. And I started telling him what I want to talk about through this album. And thanks to him, we could come up with lyrics for these songs. There are a couple of songs which originally were ideated in Kannada from me, because it's a natural language for me to think in. And the rest were all in Hindi. The first song that happened was Shakkar Pari. The idea for that song was that a little girl steals sugar from the market only to distribute it to people who have never tasted sweetness. This is the brief I gave him. Because I experienced during this difficult time a lot of kindness from absolute strangers, whom I had not even counted in my inner circle. They were absolute strangers who said, I get you, I know you need this help. And I was not at that time hesitant to seek help. I was open to that help. And I knew I needed help. And I approached people for help. And I was not disappointed. And then he wrote Shakkar Pari. I mean, we fought. I fight a lot with Neeraj. Every song, every word has to carry some weight in it. It can't be frivolous. And Neeraj also is an extremely intense guy. And he can't think normally like, I love you, you love me. He can never write shit like that. He has to like bring in, उसके अंदर एक मजेदार कवि है जो he's funny, he's hilarious, he's sarcastic, he's at the same time very heavy in his words. So, and I know Neeraj, he has to be dug into to get that out of him. And over almost 3-4 months, Shakkar Pari got shaped lyrics-wise. And then I had already written a song in Kannada called Alemari, one of the tunes. Alemari is my, like, a real story. I would say the entire album, probably if I have to sum up into one song, it's Alemari. It's about how the only purpose of this life is to travel within, confront your demons. Either you destroy them or you make peace with them, or you know that they exist and you know how to control them. By the time you learn these lessons, your lifetime is almost coming towards the end. And so I saw it through an eyes of a traveler who is traveling from one place to another place. And it says, ನೆನ್ನೆಗಳ ನೆನಪಿಲ್ಲ ನಾಳೆಗಳ ಚಿಂತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಭುಜಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಭಾರ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಣ್ಣೀರ ವ್ಯಥೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. It means I don't have any memories of yesterday. I don't have worries about tomorrow. I don't have any more baggage on my shoulder, nor do I have any more stories of sorrow. I don't have a concept of victory or loss. I don't have any debt towards anybody, nor do I carry the fear of rejection from anyone anymore. पत्ता मैं हूँ पत्ता, गोते हवा में खाता हूँ पत्ता, पत्ता मैं हूँ पत्ता, मानो बस ऊपर वाले की सत्ता. That's in Hindi. But it was written originally in Kannada, and then Neeraj helped me to write it in Hindi. And also at the same time, I was also thinking, why should this material be only in these 2 languages? So I called in Madan Karki, He's a great writer in Tamil. And he wrote Tamil version of the same song from his perspective. I only gave them the brief.
Tune.
I was not asking any of the writers to translate. I only gave them what I want to tell them, tell through the song, and they wrote it in their own imagination. And it's beautiful how everything has aligned beautifully, almost in a similar intensity. And in Telugu, I found a lyricist called Kittu Vissapragada, who lives in Ireland. And we worked online. And it was beautiful how in Telugu it sounds equally magical. And I don't find any difference between any of the languages, though I don't know Tamil or Telugu. I don't understand. I don't speak them. I learned it phonetically. But when I sing it to a Teluguite, so who wrote this song? So it's beautiful to see that happening. So now every song is in 4 languages. So I have 8 songs, but in 4 languages.
You have 32 songs actually.
Yeah. And then there is a song called Chinta. It's about this ant line I saw on my dining table, and I wondered, where are these ants coming from? And I realized they're coming out of my house. Somewhere in the footpath there is an ant hill, and each ant is walking every day to get that little piece of food, and it's slogging it back all the way only to feed the queen ant. And in return, it'll get a smaller portion of the food that it has got. And it survives that day, only to wake up next morning, again, it will follow that ant line to get another piece of food. It told me so much in that one single thing. So Neeraj wrote, Chinte ka bole dil, kholega sugar mill. Like every one of us work every day, our ass off, thinking one day we will build that sugar mill and after that I'm going to chill. Then I don't have to worry, struggle for that piece of sugar.
True, and that's so true.
And then there is the most beautiful song in that album is called Khud Se Nainachar, lyrically. Nainachar is a phrase I learned through Dakshin Bharat Hindi Prachar Sabha as a small child. I wanted to write about accepting whoever you are, with all your flaws, all your mistakes, all your regrets and remorses, and all your darkness, all your vulnerability, and still finding yourself worth to love yourself. And only then you can start the healing process, to accept that, yes, I am all of this, but I deserve love. Most of us struggle in darkness. Anybody who is suffering from mental health issues, their biggest hurdle is to like themselves, who they have become. But that is the time when you really need to love yourself, if you ever want to come out of it. For me, that was a very important message to send. So Neeraj wrote again, Khud Se Nainachar. He says, "Tu pehle yaar khud se kar le pyar, fir baad mein sara sansar." It's like that. Like that. Forget the rest of the world. First love yourself and then you think about the rest of the world. Because we are always looking for validation and love from others. But we forget to love ourselves first. And when you don't love yourself, how can you even expect the world to reflect the same energy back to you? Because you're giving out a vibe that you don't like yourself. So people also don't like you. But if you start loving yourself, that love shows off in everything you say. Your words become softer, your behavior becomes polite, you'll be more kind, more compassionate, more space for others' mistakes. And you can easily forgive somebody else. But if you have not learned how to forgive yourself or seek forgiveness for the mistakes you've done, I don't think you can learn to forgive anybody else. So this was the message from Khud Se Nainachar. Then there's a very fun song called Kudilikke Hattijana. It's in Kannada, written by a pre-independence era poet from Karnataka named Dr. Dara Bendre. He's a Gnanpith award-winning poet from Karnataka. He was the most loved poet from Karnataka. He says, have you started drinking? Be careful. You have so much more to do and so far to go. Don't get distracted. And halfway through he says, so what if I get distracted? What if I lose my way? Let me make mistakes. Let me lose my way. Maybe I might not walk the path you want me to walk on and reach that destination you're showing me I should go to. I might find some other destination which is far better than me.
True.
Than what you're showing to me. Or maybe it might be not as beautiful as you're saying, but I will probably be the happiest there. So finally he says, as long as I'm connected to the force above and my heart is clean, please allow me to make mistakes. I will learn from them and I'll become a better person and I'll figure out my destination. The last one is called Do Saanson Ke Beech. It's about my dad and mother. Uh, my dad was a mental health patient for most of his life. He just couldn't fight back at life. So as a child, growing up as a young teen, as a young man also, I thought my father was a loser. क्या है यार हो गया I mean लाइफ में मुश्किलें आती है तो why couldn't he fight back? I always disregarded my father that way. And when I was 44 and not 44, I was much older, 46. I met my mother post-COVID and we were having chai in our veranda and I asked her, why were you with this man? Why did you even marry him? Like there was no love for you. I've never seen you hold hands. I've never seen you guys sharing a joke and laughing loudly. I've never seen you guys going out for a movie together, just two of you. Even if we go out, it will always be a whole family or with somebody's family. You both have never taken a vacation together. So where was love for you all in all of this? And my mom looked at me and said, so what kind of love are you talking about? The ones you make music for, those movies? Or is it on Instagram that you learn what love is from? Love is all about? She said, I think I'm the luckiest woman in this world to have a husband like your dad. I said, what rubbish. And I really got angry on her for saying that. I was like, what are you talking about? She said, Raghu, just find some quiet in your head, give it 10 minutes, and think of one day in your dad's life. And you might end up having a different opinion about him. That man had only love for me between every 2 breaths he took. And that ended the conversation. I got really angry. I said, I walked off. And in that anger, I walked. Then there is Manuana Park in Mysore, which is my childhood park where I used to go and play. I saw it and I went and sat down because I remember my dad used to bring there for me to play slides. So I went and sat and I remembered my dad. And my mother's words, 10 minutes of quiet in your head to think about your dad's one day in life. My father, I would wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. He would heat the water for all of us to have bath. He would have his bath first. And then he would finish his worshipping prayers and puja, whatever. And then he would get into the kitchen. He would start cooking breakfast and also start cooking lunch. By the time my mom wakes up, has her bath and she finishes puja, the breakfast is kept on the floor with a plate overturned on it. And we had only one single 10 by 10 room that we all lived in and one kitchen and one toilet attached to that. So everything is visible. So she would sit in front of the plate and she would quietly eat breakfast. And then she would wake up and then in the corner of her room, she would just pull a sari, which is a curtain, and it had a small bell. So that means when she's pulling the bell, that means Amma is going to change her sari, whatever, and we have to move out because it's the same room. So either my dad would close the kitchen door or he would step out. 95% of the time, we would have packed the lunch box for my mom. So he would take that and sit outside. And that bell was a wake-up call for me and my brother. So we would wake up and go into the bathroom to have our baths. So by the time Amma gets ready, our man is sitting outside and she walks down the steps. He would hold his lunch box to her and she would keep it in her bag. And she would walk out through the corridor of that backside of her house and he would follow 3 steps behind. And he would wait at the gate till my mother gets the bus. And she would turn back, wave. And my dad would come back and then he's a different man in front of me and my brother. He would get us ready. He would pack our bags for school, pack our lunch boxes, get us breakfast, send us off to school. He would clean, he would wash, he would do everything at home. I would come back from school and there would be a snack for me to eat and then he would cycle me to my dance class. That is the only time I've seen my dad smile at me or scold me also. Even more than my teacher, he would start scolding me. You sit down, Armandi, he would scold. because I'm not sitting in the squat position properly. And my teacher would say, "You keep quiet, I'm teaching you." And then he would cycle me back. And at around 7, my mom would come back from office. She was a clerk in postal department. As soon as the gate sound happens, this man who would have pulled up his lungi halfway up would put it down, look for his shirt frantically wherever he's thrown it, and he would wear that shirt, button himself up, rushing to the kitchen. By the time my mom comes, changes her clothes and freshens up, he would have her coffee ready. She would sip her coffee quietly, and it's some conversation they would have just with their eyes. He knew he had to pick up the vegetable basket from that hook, and they would go to the market, buy vegetables, come back home, cook dinner, and we all would sit on the floor, eat. We would sleep on a small, divan type, me and my brother. And my dad and mom would sleep on the floor. Rarely I have seen my dad apply Amrutanjan for my mother's forehead or press her legs because she's tired or whatever. But otherwise, I have not seen any physical intimacy with them. But in those 10 minutes, that one day's life of my dad changed the entire perspective for me for the first time, that despite his mental health issues, where everybody thought he was a loser, he was fighting thousands of wars inside himself, but he was giving his 100% with whatever little was left out of his mental capacity to keep the family together at home. My mother had tried to get him a job several times, but he would just not work anywhere. He couldn't keep the job. He would come back home, sometimes even crying. So she said, "Okay, you stay at home, I'll take care of." So she would earn outside, and my father would take care of the home, much to the remarks and sarcastic comments that my relatives or neighbors would give. My father would be like, "Oh, so he's sending his wife out to earn the money while he's sitting at home." Or my mother would be like, "Oh, she's roaming around in the world while her husband is sitting at home." That kind of, But they had that one safe space between them where the rest of the world didn't matter. They had shut it off completely, and they knew whatever they are doing it for us, these two children and the family together, to keep together. So I had to address this issue. Talk about how mental health for women is spoken about a lot. But men fighting their wars inside, because we men are supposed to be strong. We are supposed to be the caretakers of the family. Very rarely we speak about it, and I wanted it to be spoken about. And I wrote this song in Kannada, Eradu Sirina Naduve, means between two breaths. And Neeraj wrote the Hindi version of it. So these are the 8 songs. So every song is actually very happy, very, very celebratory, very joyous. But the intention is also very clear that I don't speak about the problem. The world needs solutions. I hope people who are probably dealing with their own crap in life, they might be feeling weak or not capable to deal with it. Probably 1 or 2 songs could be their answers, or at least companions or background score while they're dealing with their own life's travesties. So that's the purpose of this album, called Shakkar. Shakkar also, as a name, came from the fact that we are all Indians. We love distributing sweets.
Yeah.
Any occasion, sweets is a metaphor. So sugar is that sweet I want to offer to the rest of the world, while I celebrate that I've dealt with my shit, and I want to share my experiences, and hopefully somewhere they will find a thread to hold on to in these songs to deal with their own.
Now, when I know about the album, I feel more connected to every single song. And the story which you told me about your father, I mean, again, my personal opinion, I don't think one can love someone more than this.
Absolutely.
I mean, your father really loved your mom.
Yes.
So, wow. I need a few seconds to process this. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
And I could really feel every single line and the emotion. So let's shift back from the album.
Yeah,
Congratulations on the album, and
Thank you.
I wish you all the best, and I'm sure more and more people, uh, you know, a lot of people have told me this about songs, that great songs always have a longer life, but a slower reaction process,
Correct. Yeah.
because it takes time for people to process that song. And the biggest form of advertising was word of mouth,
Correct.
is word of mouth,
Will
will
always be.
always remain word of mouth.
Yeah.
So, these kind of songs, conversations, when it connects to somebody,
Yeah.
it goes step by step
Correct.
to other places. So, wishing you all the best, and I'm
Thank you.
so thankful for you to do this. I've told you about myself, and a lot of people I know have been facing mental health issues. A lot of people don't even know about it.
Hmm.
A lot of people know it, but they don't want to acknowledge it.
Yeah. I
They're
mean,
in
I
denial.
didn't even know.
Yeah.
For example, when my diagnosis was done, my therapist said, "You must be suffering from this for at least 15 years. You are chronically suffering from this. You need to go down deep now. It's not going to happen overnight. You'll have to probably need a year or two before you process every issue in your life." So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes people don't even know that they are suffering. That is the problem. It's a silent killer. It's not. There is no symptom to this. There's
There's also
no.
a taboo, no? Because, see, guys can't be weak.
Correct.
You are
Yeah.
the one who's the person responsible for everyone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, let's shift our focus from there. Uh, I have an interesting thing to discuss with you. See, not too many people are involved in touring as you are,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
From domestic to international touring, because you guys produce your own show. You're not selling it typically to an organizer.
Correct.
So, how does this actually happen? How does it actually plans out? Is it the international market is, what do you say, in terms of revenue, in terms of organizing, production, the whole process? Can you give me a little deep down details about this?
Sure. I think the first tour that we ever did, I lost about 22 lakhs. It's huge money. We are talking about 2010. And I know for the fact that all my friends, peers, said, "Stupid fellow, buy a site. You'll easily get a big site in Bangalore. Land is everything." And I didn't listen to any of that. I just was mad about, dogged about the fact that my music deserves to be heard everywhere around the world. It's not just within India. And even abroad, not to Indians, but to audience across any kind of race. I want to go to Africa and perform. I want to go to Australia and perform. I want to perform in South America and North America, of course. So UK was supposed to be the seat of world music. So a lot of world music bands started from UK. So, and since my first ever tour abroad was the UK, I started. Then we go. I still remember telling my manager then, saying, "I truly believe my music deserves to be heard, so let's give it a shot." And I was very honestly told that it's going to cost a bomb and we might not get any fee at all in return. And I was okay with it completely and knowing very well. And over a period of time, the margin of losses have come down. Last year, we broke even for the first time. This year, thanks to performing at Paris Olympics, we kind of just about put our head over the water. I know it's not going to be easy always. It's like such things happen rarely where you get a big fee. But otherwise, we still lost a lot of money in this tour that way. If I take away Paris, because I would consider it as an India show, right? Indian booking happened from Reliance Foundation and we went and performed there. And because we were in UK already in the time, we saved on the flight ticket and therefore we could earn a bit of money from there. And I could pay my musicians some fee. It's still, so when people say, "Oh, you're going performing in Europe, you're performing in UK," it's absolutely not rosy that way. But there are bands which are doing great now. Like, for example, Peter Cat Recording. They've cracked a deal with a booking agent, which is very well known in North America. They're touring, like, I heard they're doing a tour of 72 concerts, which is crazy. So that's where it might make sense. Or But I have a booking agent in UK alone. I don't have a North America representation. I don't have a European representation yet. I'm still lurking in darkness because again, my music is so niche. It can only fit into world music festivals, and as time passes by, more and more world music festivals are closing down, and so there are very few popular ones left now, and it is very tough. It is like you have to book your own flights. You have to an economy, not business, and we have to book our own Airbnb. I have to pay my musicians their per diems plus their fee. I have to pay for the splitter van that we hire. We have to pay for the driver who drives around for the fuel. And the fee we get is not even 1/4 of what we get paid in India. So it's pretty much, and when the shows are not there, I still have expenses like hotels and Airbnbs and per diems. So if I don't pack the whole touring whatever window with lots of shows, I'll never break even. So this time we played about 14 shows in 22 days, which is horrible on my throat for the kind of singing I do. I tear my lungs and tissues every time moving off my throat to every show. So I need a good night's sleep to recover before my next shows. And we played 7 shows in a row first phase and across 3 places. Like there is England, and then we played Ireland, and then we traveled to Europe. And all in one phase. It was crazy. No sleep. Sleeping was only on the touring van. Early in the morning, we wake up, drive to another city. We land, we have lunch, sound check, and then 1 hour rest maybe, or whatever.
You know, I'm so thankful to you that you're sharing the true experience.
Yeah.
Because not many people do that. As an artist or as a manager, I was a manager for my longest time.
Yeah.
We always want to show the nicest picture of our artists and our tours, so that we can.
It used to break my heart to see my musicians still being so cooperative and so sweet to me every day. And they might be going through 100 of things in my head. I wouldn't know. They wouldn't share. But they would still come back every evening and give their best on show. I think I have the world's best band members ever. It wouldn't have been possible but for their cooperation and help.
We wish that the next tour makes money.
Yeah, I really hope so. It's about time. It's about time, really.
I'm sure.
But it doesn't matter. Really, at the end of the day, see, I still have a Honda Activa. I don't aspire for a swanky car. I have a comfortable home. I don't have to have
a bungalow
or whatever it is. I don't have servants to do everything. I have one guy who's very loyal to me. He's my savior. I take him as my brother and introduce him as my brother only. He takes care of everything for me as far as cooking is concerned, cleaning is concerned. He knows my mood swings, everything. He's withstood the longest with me. And then, of course, then there is my band, my music, my studio, and that's my world. And then I have a very, very close circle of friends. We rarely meet, once in maybe a month, because I am always doing something else. And everybody else is also doing their own thing. But I know I can pick up my phone and call anybody anytime and still have somebody to talk to me. And I'm very happy with that. So even if it means losing money again on another tour, I mean, I've sustained that for 12 years now. 14 years, sorry. But I hope that my band members will see the glory that I want, that I have in my head about it. I want them to go through that and experience that joy of reaching the summit with me. I think that is what I'm waiting for. If it's not really about money. I want them to see what is possible with our music. I think that's what I'm waiting for.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And I think the best part is that you own 100% publishing, 100% masters.
Yes.
You do your concerts.
Yeah. Now it's just about it's left to the people.
The world is exploding. The music can explode from any part of the world to anywhere in the world.
Correct. Yeah.
So one fine night, your music is discovered by people and everything changes.
Correct.
So wishing you all the best for that.
Thank you so much.
Since you mentioned team,
Yeah.
Would you like to explain or name who are your team members? Your
Oh,
band?
yes. Relatively new members, pre-COVID. I think we all, the current lineup came together in 2017 and 2018. And the 2017, I saw a band of boys completely deserting me. And these guys were replacements. And they have stuck through the toughest time of the world, which is COVID. And post-COVID also was not easy. The entertainment industry was the first to shut down and
Correct.
last to open back again. And they gritted their teeth again. Even in fact, the last 3 months, for example, June, July, August, we had no shows. July was our touring month, which had very little money for them. So I didn't even know. After Paris, everyone shut down. Nobody texted me, called me, or nor did I do that. I went through one viral bout and I slept through it, and I was recuperating from my own touring fatigue and etc. etc. Just about last end of August, I messaged everybody saying, "Hey, everybody okay? Thanks for not messaging or texting or checking on me, and etc. etc." Some of them had found jobs. It broke my heart. They refused to play with anybody else. They were okay to take a job. They were okay not to tell me about it. It broke my heart. That's why I need to earn. Because only through me. And unfortunately, no matter how great we are on stage, we kick ass. You have to see us to believe it on stage. We are a fucking great band on stage. And yet, when it comes to payment, independent music, bolte hi hamara fee, it's not even 1/4 of what a Bollywood act would get. No matter what you do on stage, you're still an independent act. And you'll only get that much. If that doubles for me also, I know everybody will be comfortable. And they are also, again, like me, they don't have any great ambitions कि bungalow खरीदूं, मैं ये car खरीदूं, वो करूं. Thing. They have now found day jobs. And they said, Raghu, sorry, we can't come for rehearsals because we now have responsibilities to take care. And the band fee that we earn is not enough. So for me, that is what I want to eliminate. I hope I'll be able to provide for everybody.
I'm sure you will. Raghu, I can only say through my experiences with artists and especially what we spoke offline, when you were in that mental health situation, and now when you look back, you realize that whatever happened was the right thing.
Absolutely.
I'm sure whatever we are discussing today, when 6 months later we discuss about this, we'll come across and realize that this is all the right thing that happened.
Of course, yeah, I think so too. Like I always tell everybody when people ask me, how did you survive through all of that? And I say, probably it was the best thing to have happened to me. Yeah, I call it the beautiful disruption. And maybe I was arrogant with myself, with whatever I was trying to do. I was like a horse, on mad speed. I was thinking this way will last forever, and I will ride to whatever sunset with it, etc., etc. But no, there was a sudden crash. Everything came down, destroyed everything, and I had to rise up myself. First, pick myself up, and then do music too. But when I look back, the biggest beautiful thing that has happened in all of this, that it has reshaped my heart and it has shifted it to a place where it's rightfully supposed to be. I'm probably more patient, more kind, and more generous and more accommodating now towards people around me than I ever was. I was probably not listening to everybody around me. I was only worried about this thing I have to do and achieve. And I was like on a juggernaut about it. And I was like doggedly trying to do whatever I was doing. And I was driving everybody up the wall for not supporting me in that journey, whatever.
So
I think for me, that is my biggest beautiful achievement in the last 6 years, is to really know who I am and become who I am today. I'm very proud of myself.
yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. As I was telling you constantly that at the end of the day, I'm a manager deep inside. And whoever is managing you right now.
Yeah, I have two beautiful managers, Bobby and Deb.
Yeah.
Incredible.
They love you.
And they have a great team.
And I can understand, what they would want. They would want you to be in the happiest state.
Correct.
To make the best of the music you can make.
Yeah.
To do the best performance. Not worry about anything in life.
Yeah.
And have the best opportunities in every sense.
Correct.
So let's use this platform to do something.
Sure.
That there are hundreds of people. There are event promoters. There are social media platforms. There is YouTube. There's streaming companies. There are radio stations, TV channels, booking agents. There are a lot of people, music labels. What are the kind of opportunities? Like, for example, somebody comes and tells here, we've seen your show, we want to do something different.
Yeah,
A lot of time people come.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are corporate clients who comes and says that. But these communications don't happen on an open ground.
Correct.
That what does an artist actually wish to do?
Correct.
So that those people can come and approach you for that.
Correct.
So can you tell us that, listen, what are the opportunities for all these people to do with Raghu Dixit, which matches what you want to do as well?
Oh, well, the happiest thing would be to just travel across to different cultures and make musical conversations with musicians. Known, unknown, doesn't matter. As long as I'm collaborating. I think I'm happiest and best as a musician when I'm collaborating with somebody. I don't think I've ever made a song on my own, which I'm very proud of. All my beautiful songs has been made with somebody, an equally brilliant music or maybe even better than me. And as long as I get to do that, travel and perform and make music with other musicians and make people happy with it, that's the only manifestation I would want to continue doing.
And my last question is that there are hundreds, thousands, and millions of fans who listen to your music.
Yeah.
And what do you want them to perceive about you?
Oh man, I realize expectations are too bad to have from people. So, if they find my music as a background score for their best moments of life, I would be happiest. Like I get so many messages like, "Oh, I met my girl in your concert. We both had the same favorite song as of yours," or some people say when they heard the song called Kodagana Kolinungita, which is about finding your inner strength. They have told me that, oh man, that really made me think about what I am thinking about myself now. I have to change that perspective. And I know I'm strong enough to deal with it, whatever I'm going through. These are the things that I want to manifest in a bigger number, I hope. Like they say, music can heal the world or whatever it is. I don't know if I can heal the whole world, but whoever is in my world, if they listen to my music and find that solace and support through my music, I think that's the biggest man. It's already happening. I just hope it spreads out and it becomes infectious.
Wow. Raghu, with that thought, thank you so much. Actually, if we continue talking, I think we can talk for 10 hours.
Sure. I love talking to you too.
I love, if anybody asks me what I love the most in my life, talking. So
Great.
This is one of my best conversation.
Oh, so sweet. That's very kind of you.
Reason being, not everybody is so honest with somebody else like this, and especially when the cameras are on.
Yeah.
I think that starts, but you also said that starts from when you have to love somebody, you have to love yourself.
Correct.
When you have to be honest with anybody else, you have to be honest with yourself. With that thought, I want to thank you once again for being so candid. Thank you so much, Raghu.
Thanks. Thank you.
This is good.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Your dad's story, that's going to stay with me for till I die.
Yeah. And so late in my life, I realized that. It's just funny.
Things like that. There is love in
Every little thing.
a lot of other things.
Yeah.
I mean, love is not defined by how many times you hug,
Correct.
or how many times you say I love you, or how many times you kiss each other, or go to the restaurants or movies. Amazing. Sorry. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm still there. So, Amil, we covered everything. Sorry, I lost track of what I had to do in between. I genuinely had lost track of.
No, we spoke about what matters more than anything else. Especially the second half of the interview was
I'm so
really
happy.
on the spot. Yeah.